Dylan had always been a conventional writer, bound by the constraints of writer's block and deadlines that seemed both distant and suffocating. One evening, as he walked through the maze of a used bookstore, he stumbled upon an old, dusty diary tucked away on a forgotten shelf. Its leather cover was cracked, and the pages within were untouched by ink. With a shrug, he purchased it, hoping its emptiness would spark inspiration. Sitting at his desk that night, Dylan opened the diary, its vacant pages staring back at him. He tapped his pen against the edge of the desk, deep in thought. The moment he pressed the pen to the first page, something strange happened. The ink poured out, spelling words he hadn't intended to write. "Tomorrow, the clock will stop at 3 p.m. A shiver ran down his spine, but he dismissed it as his mind playing tricks on him. The next day, at precisely 3 p.m., his antique wall clock stuttered and stopped. Dylan's curiosity mingled with fear as he realized the diary seemed to foretell actual events. Each night, he wrote a new entry, and each following day, the horrifying predictions came true. A shadow will cross your window at midnight. He scarcely slept that night, and as the clock struck 12, a dark silhouette indeed loomed across his window, vanishing as quickly as it appeared. Days turned into weeks, and Dylan's life spiraled into paranoia and terror. The final straw came when he wrote, "Tonight, you will see the darkest truth." That evening, he waited, trembling, struggling to keep his breath steady. The room grew colder, shadows grew longer, and the air thickened with unspoken dread. As the clock in the hallway struck midnight, Dylan heard a soft, menacing whisper from the diary on his desk. The blank pages began to fill rapidly with ink, spelling out horrors he could hardly believe. Faces of people he knew, twisted and screaming. Events of grief and madness, all laid out across the pages. Dylan's own name appeared in blood-red ink, detailing his gruesome end. Unable to bear it any longer, Dylan seized the diary and tried to burn it, but the pages remained unscathed, the writing more vivid than ever. The final words he read before his mind broke were, "You are but the writer of fate, not its master." Dylan screamed, the diary clutched in his trembling hands, consumed by the terror he had unknowingly pinned into reality. Eventually, his voice faltered, and he succumbed to the horror he had unleashed. The diary closed itself, settling back into eerie silence, awaiting its next unsuspecting victim.